So I watched that Kong versus Godzilla movie.
Mm-hmm.
What a ridiculous what a ridiculous movie.
Where did you watch it?
It's on HBO now or
You didn't
whatever
go
it's
into
called.
the theater?
I didn't. I did get together with my friend who is also vaccinated because that's still CDC guidelines. Still following the guidelines, baby.
Were you masked or unmasked?
We were unmasked. CDC guidelines say you can get together with small groups of vaccinated people unmasked.
And you can travel now, too.
Yeah. So I'm still following the guidelines. I didn't go to a theater or anything, but
Yeah.
that movie was ridiculous. There's literally a scene where Godzilla just like punches the fuck out of King Kong, and then it zooms in on Godzilla's face,
Mm-hmm.
and this dude fucking smiles.
Godzilla has emotions?
This
Godzilla
fucking
can
lizard.
smile?
I guess so. He smiled. He's like, "I got you, you bitch." He fucking got him.
That sounds creepy. I would expect him to have no outwardly emotes.
Yeah, and King Kong had like an axe. He like finds an axe, and he's got like a full on axe, and like the dude can do sign language. He says home. I guess that. Yeah, it's a weird it's a weird
Speaking
movie,
of a
man.
world, speaking of a world outside of mine, but I have a couple of friends that are huge King Kong fans, and I was looking at his Instagram, and he was just pulling his yam bag over his shoulder for this movie to come out, and I mean, he has a collection of King Kong action figures, and when I say a collection, I'm talking about he's got at least 150 different King Kong action figures, and I attribute it to his collection by buying him one that I found out that he did not have, and I bought it for him.
I was always more of a Godzilla guy myself. I grew up with all those movies, as cheesy and horrible as they were.
Yeah, the claymation.
They weren't really claymation. They were just like dudes in horrible suits,
And really ridiculously bad CGI and green screen.
Well, yeah. I mean, the first Godzilla was 1952. So, I mean, I'll give it a pass.
Yeah.
And honestly, I watched the original Godzilla growing up, and I watched it recently, in hype for the Kong versus Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
And that movie holds up surprisingly well because they did it really smart where they focus more on the people on the ground, and they're like, "Oh God, there's something happening,"
Yeah.
and then they kind of cut to Godzilla, and he's like, "Rrr!" And then
Godzilla
you don't really
was kind of like what? What was he?
he goes,
Oh, okay. Just want
he
to make
does,
sure I got that the first time.
yeah. So he's walking around, doing his
the
thing.
third time really sunk it in for me. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Fourth time is overkill. All right.
And and then the end of the movie, he shows up, destroys all the buildings and shit, and you're like, okay, yeah, that was pretty tight. That's a pretty tight movie. Yeah.
Nice. I'm waiting for you to venture back into the theater. I expect that will be happening very soon for you.
Yeah, dude, I really want to see that movie, Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, there's one big movie that's coming out on my birthday, and I can't remember what it is.
Oh shit, when's your birthday?
April 16th.
Oh shit. Happy say it's not for a couple weeks. So
Doesn't
I'll
matter.
save it.
Yeah, there you go.
What's the movie?
Nobody is on demand April 16th. Maybe that's the movie that I'm talking about. I don't know.
Yeah, I really want to watch that movie.
But
Really
I'm just waiting for you to go. And when you see that movie, are you thinking you're going to venture back into the sticky floored, popcorn burning world of theater, in-person theater?
I'm still taking it slow, Nobody's already in theaters right now, and I'm like really tempted, but like I'm waiting for Fauci to be like, you're good,
Yeah.
Like I'm waiting for the full okay. I've been a real stickler on the CDC guidelines, you know.
I would agree.
So like, yeah, I've been a little bit more lax on like, you know what? I think I will just go to Target today, and you know, look at I needed some new sheets for my bed, and I was like, you know what? I'll just start ordering. I'll fucking go to Target, you know. And I walked around Target because I got the vaccine, you know. I don't know if I'm ready to like actually sit down in a theater for like 2.5 hours while people are like eating popcorn and shit.
See, that's the thing that a lot of people forget, and it's not really publicized and talked about a lot, is that your time, your duration, in environments, you know what I mean? Like I returned to the NBA, mentioned that on a couple of shows back, and my time and saturation there is, you know, a lengthy period of time. We're talking about 5 hours, you know, of, you know, just everybody masked up, which is good. But, you know, my OCD germaphobe mind, I'm thinking, okay, when they were in this room by themselves with their mask off, is it in the air? Is it floating around? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But I'm like you. I'm waiting for the good old Fauci, the good old CD to give us the thumbs up before I get anywhere near, like going back into the grocery store. That'd be my big thing. Going back into the grocery store.
How's the vaccine hunt going for you?
The vaccine hunt, it was there. And I don't know if we talked about it on this show, if I talked about it on Fat Guy. But the vaccine was there through my day job. Yeah. And, I opted not to go.
Why?
I opted not to go. I was having some big, huge second thoughts. I was having some huge second thoughts and some huge mind questions. I'm not going to dive into them, but I opted not to go.
Okay. Shit. I mean, I would have jumped on that shit. Especially now that it's getting easier. Like, it's so nice. Like, my friend Brandon got his vaccine. So, like, I can be like, hey, man, let's get together and play Smash Bros. Like, that's what we did. We watched Godzilla and played Smash Bros. It's fucking magical, dude.
See, nobody ever hangs out with me unless they're working for me or working with me. You know, so what's the point? You know, I'm kidding. But no, that's cool. That's neat. That's awesome.
Yeah. Exciting. Also, interestingly, just to get back to Kong for a second.
Sure.
World box office. Like, this movie launched on Thursday in America, but I think it came out last weekend worldwide. And this movie is like already over $100 million. So like the world box office is kind of starting to pick up a bit.
The WBO.
Yeah. I know. In China, they've been pretty open already for a while because they were hard. they went hard, you know. So
yeah, threaten of killing you if you came out of your house.
Well, it worked. Shit.
It did, and if we did that in America, they would abuse it. You know what I mean? I don't praise China too often, but they threatened them within an inch of their life if they come out of their house while this thing was running rampant in China, and they got their hands around it. And then once China has their hands around it, they say, okay, we're not going to shoot you if you come out of your house. See, in America, I would imagine that if our government came out and said, hey, we're going to gun you down if you come out of your house during this pandemic for the next month, our government will then say, okay, that month is over, but we're still going to gun you down because we think you may have it, or we think you may have spread it, or we think you may have come out of your house without us knowing. See, our government would abuse that type of power, where the Chinese government is
we don't
more
know
like
that for sure.
Well, we don't, but well. Actually, we do, Jake, because our government has proven to us over and over that they're very successful at abusing
I'm not saying
their power.
We don't know that our government would abuse it. I'm saying we don't know exactly how China handled it.
We don't know exactly, but you know, I'm surmising, I'm speculating,
right.
In this. But I think that if our government was to do something like that, they would abuse it.
Well, and China
be gunning people down for no reason.
China abuses it. I mean, like, China is an authoritarian country, and
right.
Especially when Trump was president. I mean, we were really close to an authoritarian country.
Yeah, we
so,
were
like,
authoritarian light.
Yeah. And
we were we were the free app on the Apple Store of authoritarian. China is the $39.95 app of authoritarian on the iTunes app.
I'm kind of surprised Trump didn't take advantage of it. Well, I mean,
some say he did.
Well,
some would say he did.
He lost the election though, so I mean,
according to Arizona, no, he didn't.
What do you mean?
There's some bullshit legislative. There's like 23 fucking new bills sitting in our legislative branches right now, trying to change voter rights and voter processes in Arizona. Yeah. And they hired a company in Florida to again audit the election results from November. So the Republican Party, a vast majority of the Republican Party here in Arizona, still don't believe that Trump lost the election. And what they're doing is that they're literally these bills will not only fuck Democrats, it would fuck Republicans too. It will fuck every registered voter in this state. And it's just quietly going by and not a lot of people are talking about it. And I believe that there are a handful of states that are out there doing this right now, all because Trump lost. And I'm like, fucking hell, people.
So I guess when you say Arizona, though, you should clarify, because it's not the Arizonan people. I mean...
No, it's the Republican representatives of Arizona.
It's the Arizona government, if anything. But, we'll
I'm a little cloudy-headed tonight, so forgive me.
We'll see what happens. Anyway, let's start the show.
5, 6, 7, 8.
What is up, boyos? Welcome to the Jake and Cory podcast. I am Jake. That is Cory. What is up, Cory?
I have a bit of a sinus headache, but I'm okay.
Yeah, is it springtime,
Yeah, changing of the weathers. That's all it is. It's a changing of weathers. Body is adjusting to us being, wearing jackets last week to this week not wanting to wear drawers.
Dude, yeah. I think it was like 100 degrees out today.
Yeah, they were saying that we're going to be kissing 100 degrees by this week. I'm hoping not. But yeah, it's just the adjustment. The barometric pressure is changing in the state, and my nice, strong, mean summer attitude is really starting to come back. You know what I mean? I always have an attitude every Arizona summer because it's so fucking hot in this damn state. I also am prepping myself for the summer. I went ahead and took my wallet, cracked it open, took any money that was inside of it, any credit cards inside of it, and set it on fire, because that's the equivalent of what's going to happen when I get my electricity bill. Now that the Volkswagen BW bus that's up on top of my roof of my house is now cooling my fat ass on the inside.
Yeah.
It just, this is the time where it sucks to be in Arizona. I was out on my fat man walk a couple weeks ago, and this lovely couple, I forget their name, came walking by, and I said, lovely day for a nice walk. They were like, yes, it is. It's beautiful. I love this weather. And I turned to them and I said, yeah, we're going to be pissed off in about a month. And that's exactly where we are, where, it's really uncomfortable to go out. But yeah, so I just got a little bit of a sinus headache. So I apologize, folks, if I'm a little low energy today. I'm also very downtrodden by Jake's continuous refusal of my advances.
Yeah, I really think Phoenix is a scam. It's a scheme. They get you in the wintertime. You're like, oh, it's so nice. And then they're like, haha, we got you. And now we'll take all your money because you have to turn your air conditioning on.
We should put that on the posters when you drive into Phoenix, where it says, welcome to Phoenix. You should say, welcome to Phoenix. We got you, bitch.
Gotcha, bitch. Yeah, welcome to Phoenix. This is where Lil Nas X was going to when he pole danced to hell.
Wow.
Did you watch that video? Did you watch?
I
the
have
Lil
not
Nas
watched
X?
the video.
Oh, dude, you're
I
missing
talked
out.
I talked about him on Fat Guy last week, and it wasn't about the video. It was about an Instagram picture that he posted, where I was like, there was no way that that's real. And it was just a very big, actually I still have it in my phone. It was just a picture of him sitting in a chair, wide-legged,
Oh, yeah.
with this amazing bulge. And I just called it for the fact that there's no way that that was real. And if it is, I mean, I don't know. I didn't see the video. I'm not all part of the hype of everything that's going on around it. So
Oh, dude,
very little to share about it, but I know that it's a big, huge buzz online because everybody, clearly, except for me, is talking about it.
I'm all in. I'm all in on the Lil Nas X train. I just love that he pole danced to hell, and the more conservative Christian types are just they're just outraged.
Here's the thing: is I hear so many people bitching about the music video and the content and Nike and the shoes. How's the song? Isn't there a song in this whole equation? How the fuck is the song?
It's pretty catchy. I mean, I'm not a huge Lil Nas X fan, if I'm being honest.
It's not Old Town Road, I would imagine.
It's all right. I mean, it's pretty catchy. It's definitely a more traditional style than Old Town Road, where that was sort of the hybrid, hip hop country thing going on, where this is a more like traditional like hip hop song.
Well, it's still Lil Nas X. He can only do one thing. That's all he can do.
I don't know. That sounded like Star Wars. I like the song. The song's all right. But I've been loving, dude, he's been blowing it up on Twitter. His Twitter is hilarious. There was this one girl, I don't know if you know who she is, Caitlin Bennett. She's known as the gun girl, where she would show up to college campuses with guns as like, oh, look at my free speech. And then people would she'd like ask people like gotcha questions, and then she wouldn't get the reaction she wanted, like, ever. And people started calling her Poo Poo Bennett because a picture showed up of her online of her pooping her pants, which is hilarious. But also, video came out of like DMs with her and her buddies, like basically saying like neo-Nazi shit. So super cool person, let's say. But she posted on her Twitter, "It's times like these that I'm happy Lil Nas X has me blocked." And Lil Nas X commented, and he's like, "I see what you're saying." and then
he's
of course
definitely becoming the king of social media, I tell you that.
Oh
much.
Yeah. And of course, in perfect racist fashion, she comes back with, "Do you even know your dad?"
Wow.
Which is honestly kind of hilarious, because he literally, right before she commented that, posted like a DM of him and his dad like having a conversation, and his dad's like, "I don't really get the video, but I'm proud of you."
Is there any Trump support on her Twitter or social media?
Oh yeah, that's her whole thing.
There we go.
That's her whole thing. But he came back with, "No, because I'm too busy fucking your dad."
Oh, Lil Nas.
and then some like Republican like news article like was written, Lil Nas X threatens to rape Caitlin Bennett's dad.
Oh my gosh. Holy monkey.
So then this other guy's like, It's funny. It seems like your dad gets around because I've been fucking him a lot too, and everyone just starts saying like,
Yep.
"We're fucking your dad," and
The Nases come out.
and then one of these people, she's like, it's this content creator called Vosh, and people like to accuse him of being a child predator, even though that's never been substantiated. It's just a good way to write someone off. And she's like, it's funny coming from you, you're a child predator or whatever. And he's like, how can I be raping kids when I'm too busy fucking your dad? Oh, just that whole discourse was like, I really love Lil Nas X, man.
He does not shy away from it. I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah.
I follow him on Twitter as well. I'm more on Instagram than I am on Twitter, and I see him post his love. I see him post his hate. He doesn't care. He literally knows how to. I would say that
his whole claim to fame is just a big internet. Like,
yeah, that's how he
know?
got to where he is.
Yeah.
Is because of his internet prowess.
He just memed so hard that he became like an uber success. Yeah,
yeah, and he garners the attention of some very powerful people. And it's genius. It's genius marketing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people going to read in that
Truly.
kind of crap is also seeing his links to his music.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of curious to see like how many views this song is up to. It is also funny.
Instagram said over 1 million.
It's funny, like just these Republicans who just a week prior were like, you can't cancel Dr. Seuss. You're canceling Dr. Seuss because he's racist, and then they're like, we should cancel Lil Nas X because he gave a lap dance to the devil.
He wanted his booty to burn, I guess. I mean, you give the lap dance to the devil. I'm pretty sure it's safe to conclude the devil has a fire penis. So if you want to give the devil a lap dance, you clearly want your booty hole singed.
Well, and Lil Nas X is like, man, you've been telling us gay people that we're going to hell forever, and now you're mad at me for going to hell? Come on.
Yeah. His argument's irrefutable.
The video came out a week ago. It's already up to 75 million views.
Of course.
Good God.
That's what he does, man. He's a genius.
Old Town Road has 577 million views.
Yeah.
Holy moly. That
is
is
undeniable.
wild.
He's undeniable. I mean, you have to realize that Lil Nas X's whole persona is something that the African American community has systematically tried to avoid. You know what I mean? It's been proven that there is a lot of homophobia in the African American community. So when you have someone that has come out that is blatantly, undeniably upfront with their homosexuality, it's a phenomenon to everybody else, because it's like this doesn't happen in the African American community. And I mean, you have other very notable homosexuals. You have RuPaul and a handful of others, but no one in the realm of where Lil Nas X is. You would never expect a black gay person in the hip hop scene. Now we know, I'm sure that there are other homosexual black rappers, but no one out front like Lil Nas X. So Lil Nas X is an anomaly to the psyche of
Tyler,
a lot
creator.
of people, because he broke the mold. He shattered the ceiling of hip hop artists being outright successfully while being homophobic or while being homosexual. And that's something that you just don't, not homophobic, homosexual. You just don't get that. And no one, even though it does exist, it existed before Lil Nas X, but Lil Nas X
right out there
Lil Nas X made it okay. And so when people see him, I believe that people still look at him through rose-colored glasses, where they're like, wow, that is a black hip-hop gay guy. Wow, I didn't know that his type of stereotypical disposition of homosexuality is normally found in other races, not black races, not out front and open. And so he shattered the ceiling on a lot of these things, and I think that's why it's he has such an amazing draw as well, because it's almost like, oh my God, it's the spotted elephant. We've heard of them, but now we see one out in public.
Well, and I think it's a really good thing too, because it's, maybe people who maybe needed that sort of idol.
Yeah.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Especially in the African American community, because again, homophobia runs rampant. When you can walk up to someone that's not black and make a homophobic joke, and they'll be like, ah ha ha, double gun point, wink wink, I'm going home, I'm gonna fuck my wife. You have a higher chance of going up to a black person making a homophobic joke and them taking it personally and wanting to beat the dog shit out of you. You know what I mean? It sends them into a huge, and I know this for a fact because I've experienced it. It sends them into a huge defense mechanism, which takes me to Shakespeare. Methinks you protest too much. Because if you get that damn angry over a fucking joke, you clearly have some unresolved issues deep down inside that you might need to explore.
Well, I think I was going to say that too. I think all these Christian conservative types are so outraged because they see this video and they're like, Lil Nas X is like kind of cute though, and I don't know how to handle that kind of emotion.
Yeah, yeah, they don't want to. You know what the thing is that I saw some of the Christian comments and people like that coming out and saying, and the only thing I can say is that ye without sin cast the first fucking stone. Throw the first stone.
Yeah, and all I can say is Christianity is fake, so.
You know what I mean? Throw the first stone. If you want to hide behind, you want to throw Lil Nas X into the pit of hell. You can't send him. You can't tell him he's going to go to hell. He clearly did in the video.
Yeah. He's all for it.
And while we're sitting back, while they're sitting back angry and mad and want to cancel him, he's dancing to the bank.
Yeah.
He's dancing to the bank.
He took the thorns, man. He's the guy.
He knows how to take it. He knows how to take it.
Oh, he knows how to take it.
Do you think that he would be a taker or a giver?
I don't know, man. I don't know how to answer that question. Let's call him up. We'll ask him.
I do have Lil Nas X's phone number. I can give him a ring.
Yeah, give him a ring.
Give him an old ring. See what he's going. But I don't know. I can't tell. That's another thing you can't do with an African American gay person, is that unless they're running around in a dress, or flinging their butt up in the air, it's kind of hard to read them. But I don't know. I can't. I have the lowest gaydar ever. So I can't tell if he's a pitcher or a catcher.
Yeah, it's a little. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to ask him next time.
If he was white, I'd be able to tell.
Why?
I don't know.
What's the difference there?
I don't know. Does it open up to a larger? Does it open up to a larger suite? I don't know.
I don't know. Well, if he was a taker, it would open up to a larger suite.
Ooh.
So last week, we talked about QAnon, right? For a little bit, just for a second, and you said you didn't know much about him, and that's fine. That's fine. But what is hilarious is someone commented on the video last week, and I just thought it would be fun to read this comment. It's a very, very long comment, but I feel like he took the time. I think it's only fair that we read the entire thing and see what he has to say.
I feel differently, but go ahead.
You don't think we should give this guy a platform? Is that how you feel?
I think that people that I'll ask this question: has he commented before on any other videos prior?
No, no.
Does he
no.
currently subscribe to the channel?
I guess there's no way to see that.
Well, you would if you've seen him make any comments before.
No.
Does he subscribe? Is he a subscriber to the channel?
I don't know. If he's listening right now, I hope he does subscribe.
I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you. I'm on the other side of the aisle.
At least let me read like the first paragraph or two, because
sure, go ahead.
There's some good stuff in here, and what really makes me laugh is he brought this up after we talked about QAnon for approximately 2 seconds. I feel like we didn't really even say that much.
Yeah, I didn't have much to add about it because I didn't.
Yeah. I feel like we.
Or I think I remember stating that it's not something that I've chosen to dedicate any part of my life to.
Yeah. Here is this guy. I won't give him a name. I'm not gonna read any of the sites that he's referencing either, because fuck those places. But y'all got to do more research. I haven't seen the HBO series, because that's what I was talking about last week, was the HBO series. But he says, I haven't seen the HBO series yet, but I imagine it's exactly covered the same way Vice and the mainstream news covers them, which is not accurate. Q, which he spells C-U-E, and then he emphasizes here, can't use the letter because it might get censored, is definitely a team of military intelligence, probably from the Q Energy Department. Their whole purpose is to keep people to think for themselves, release free energy, and expose and put an end to the world's biggest problem, which is pedophilia and human trafficking. They posted it on those anonymous sites at first to get some followers and hide their location. They never made a post about Democrats eating babies, lol. However, they have said that there's evil on both sides and posted about adrenochrome. The adrenochrome doesn't have them look young, but it makes them feel young. Q never posted this, but some people said they saw a snuff video on the dark web of Hillary Clinton torturing a little girl for adrenochrome. I won't go into the details of the video, but supposedly there is cannibalism involved with Hillary. Hillary and her seizure videos are suspected to be symptoms of a cannibal disease called Kuru. Supposedly, Huma's husband, Anthony Weiner, had a copy of the video, and the police saw it when they took his laptop. Also, Hillary doesn't really have anything to do with Pizzagate. The whole thing is mostly centered around WikiLeaks. Anyway, it goes on and on and on. This guy. What I thought was really, really funny there is he says, because I think last week I was like, yeah, Q is like, they believe that the liberal elites eat babies or something. And what's really funny about this is he says, you guys are silly. It's not about them eating babies, but there is a video of Hillary Clinton eating babies. Like, bro, what do you... I saw this comment and I thought it was way too fucking funny. Way
it literally seems like a... I read like the first 3 lines and I was like, oh, internet muscles. Internet muscles.
What are internet muscles?
Internet muscles are people that feel like they can, make a point online because they're hiding behind the internet. They probably wouldn't express that to you if they
face
were to walk up to you, person to person, mask to mask. So it's just someone that's, hiding behind the anonymity of internet. And if we had nothing else going on in our lives, we would probably take a deeper dive into this person and research, that they probably have a history of this type of stuff. And what they look for is the opportunity for someone. Yeah, for someone to give them the attention that they want because mommy or daddy didn't, hug them or kiss them enough. And when they hear the attention come, they grab their yam bag and they pull it over their shoulder. And that's fine. There are people out there. I get it so much on Fat Guy. And because of the exposure of the show, it is what it is. But this dude, man.
Well, this dude went into great detail,
yeah,
which is what I think separates it from just being like Zack Snyder's Justice League. You know, like you see a lot of those comments where it's just like someone trying to troll or whatever. But this guy doesn't seem like a troll to me. This guy seems like he genuinely believes in what he's saying, and he genuinely just wants to inform us, you know, like
Jake, he clearly is a troll. What do you mean he's not a troll? He doesn't.
This
seem
is
like a
way,
troll.
Dude. This is way too detailed to be just a fucking
You don't think
troll.
there's detailed? Yeah, there are. Yeah, it is trolls, man. He's probably never commented on any other show that we've posted. He probably will. He's probably most likely not a subscriber. He's a troll. He tripped over something on YouTube and decided that he was going to have a listen to, and if he comes back and he says something afterwards or he subscribes to the show, then I will remove his satchel of troll. But dude, this is the quintessential making of a troll.
Well, you know, if this guy wants to come on the fucking show and place his argument, I would love to hear it face to face, because that sounds like a good time to me. I'm not gonna lie. But the thing about it, I'm trying to pull up a Word document to see how many fucking. There has to be at least 500 words in this reply. That's not just like a troll. A troll is like, you know, we're talking about something we love. Let's say we're talking about what's something we both love. Twinkies, right? We love Twinkies. We love eating Twinkies. They're delicious. That cream filling, delicious. We love Twinkies. And let's say we post a podcast of us talking about how we love Twinkies so much, and then some dude's like, Twinkies are ass and they're from Satan, or you know, that's probably a troll. But a guy who's like, Twinkies were actually invented in 1922, and the creator of Twinkies was actually Howard Twinkie. When Howard Twinkie invented the Twinkie, it was intended to be some, you know what I mean? And like this guy goes into great detail about about why Twinkies are bad. To me, it's more like, this guy's trying to inform me on why Twinkies are bad. I will continue to disagree with him about because I still love Twinkies, and you will not convince me that Twinkies are bad. But you seem genuine in your distaste for Twinkies, and
your passion is your Twinkie passion is profound, sir.
Yeah, and that intrigues me. It does. I'd love to hear his side of the story. So if he wants to leave another comment,
Jake will. I don't disagree with you, but I will bet you $20.
Yeah,
never hear from this guy ever again.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's scared. He's scared of my intellect. That's all it is.
I think he's scared of your dashingly dark, mysterious good looks.
Thank you.
That's what he is. He's scared. So, troll, come at us, or come at Jake. You don't want none of this dark fire on you, but come at Jake. Come at Jake. He's clearly opening the door for you. I, unlike Jake, am closing the door on you and only have one reply. Go fuck yourself.
Well, I agree with that sentiment. Yeah, I do agree with that sentiment. But also, I would love to talk to you.
Dude, you know what? You got to tip the hat to the dude or the dudette that decided to give us 500-word reply. I could only imagine how much spell checking and internet searching. And I would also wonder how many Pokemon cards he had on the floor during the time that he was typing that message. But nevertheless, you know, kudos, bro. Thank you. Because YouTube's algorithms are tied to comments.
That is true. That is true. Also, this kind of confirms the that YouTube kind of pushes conspiracy theories, because this was one of our most watched videos in a while, our last one, and it's because we were talking about QAnon. So imagine you're just some, you know, schmuck, some dumb schmuck dropped out of second grade, doesn't know anything about anything, and you're just scrolling through YouTube.
Us.
Yeah, like us. And you're scrolling through YouTube and you see this video that's like, QAnon, here's the truth. And it's just like some guy that's like, yeah, well, QAnon is, it's about Hillary Clinton eating babies, and here's the proof. Anthony Weiner had a laptop that the FBI took, even though we don't have that confirmed anywhere or any documents to back that up. I will continue to say it, and it is true. And imagine you're some like second grade dropout and you see this and you're like, that's compelling.
Well, Jake, you asked a question. I believe you posed a question last week on how these people get wrapped up in this shit.
Yeah.
This is how. They get a weak-minded second grade dropout that says, that's a very valid point, or that seems very interesting. It's the weak mind. It preys on the weak mind.
The ones that confuse me are like flat earthers who are also like have master's degrees in you know, whatever their field of study is. And it's like, how do you have a master's degree and also believe in flat earth? Like,
yeah,
it's the most insane thing. Like, you see it. Like, it exists.
It's also the same insanity of the people that you go to their Instagram or their social media page, and 6 months ago they were, you know, claiming that, you know, they don't need to wear a mask, that the virus isn't real, and now you scroll through more recent posts and they're posting up their vaccination cards.
Right.
Well, if the virus wasn't real, how come the vaccine is? You know what I mean? It's the same idiocracy that is floating around on the inner highways. And I know, Jake, we're not really complaining about it. We're just mentioning in our observations because we exist in that same stratosphere of the inner highways. You know what I mean? So
yeah, we all do, really.
You know, everybody does. Every part of every aspect of our life is now derived through ones and zeros.
I'm not saying we're any better.
No, we're knuckle dragging baboons.
I'm just saying we're right.
Yes, we are, bitches. Welcome to Phoenix, bitches.
Speaking of vaccines, wanted to bring this up real quick as well. Don't know if you heard about this. What's that governor's name in Florida? What's that jackass's name?
Santos, I believe. Governor
DeSantos or whatever.
DeSantos. Yeah.
So really funny that this guy,
Ron DeSantis,
that's his name.
God, I just looked at a picture of him. Man, this dude's picture just screams douche.
Yeah, he is a douche. This guy has, screams freedom, less government. That's his whole platform. And, there's something to be said about that, I guess. Whatever. Less government, I can agree to a certain extent. I get where you're coming from. You don't want the government up in your balls. That's what we were talking about at the beginning. You don't want to turn into China. Yeah,
China.
I get it. China. So this guy, he's been preaching it the whole time. Florida famously has basically just been open this entire pandemic, made the pandemic go on longer, if they want to admit it or not. That is what's been happening. They've had the highest case numbers for a while. He's done a horrible job. And now this motherfucker, because businesses are starting to say, well, there's a lot of crazies in Florida and we live in Florida. So what we're going to do to combat the coronavirus ourselves is we're going to require people to show their vaccine card to come into our
establishment.
Our establishment. Right. Yeah. And this motherfucker, Ron DeSantis, is like, I'm going to push in a law that says you can't do that. And it's like, what happened to the freedoms? What happened to, so you want freedom when it benefits you.
Yep.
And what you believe, but not freedom when it benefits the other. It kind of makes me think of the GameStop thing where people were getting fucked out of the stock, where it's like, well, we're gaming the system just like you, and all the people in Wall Street were like, well, no, we don't want you to game the system though. Yeah, that's not what we want. It's a very similar sort of thing. Yeah,
You just literally just gave the definition of the have and have nots. The haves want them to continue to. The haves want to have it all. The have nots have it because the haves have it.
Can you elaborate on that?
There's nothing to elaborate on. The have and the have nots. The have what they have, and they want to have it all. The have nots don't have it because the haves have it.
But what if they only have half?
They want it all. Like I said at the beginning, the haves want the other half. They want all the halves. So this is an example of Ron DeSantis doing the same thing. If the system doesn't benefit him, then the system is broken. And, we saw that for the last 4 years. If things didn't go someone's certain way, then that system is broken.
So let's put this in terms to explain your analogy here.
I thought it was clear.
Let's say the haves have half a calf, but they want. I'm sorry. I'm just being an asshole.
My head hurts. my head hurts. Squidward, my head hurts.
Oh shit!
Dude. What you're explaining in Florida clearly sounds like what we experienced for the last 4 years, the prior 4 years, man. When the system doesn't go their way, the system is broken. It's the same thing that's happening that I mentioned earlier in the show with some of the Republicans in Arizona. The system didn't go their way, so the system is broken, and they have to find the smallest, most minuscule crack in it to be able to say it's broken. And that's what clearly DeSantis is doing. These business owners are doing whatever they can to protect themselves. We had it here in Arizona where when we were under a lockdown, there were some businesses that were saying, look, unless you can show some proof that you are negative for the virus, you can't come into the business. And a lot of people argue that that's a violation of HIPAA protocol, the HIPAA law, Title VIII HIPAA law that protects your medical information from being shared or being forced to be shared, to a third party, and that's fine. Here's the bottom line is that these governors and these local governments throughout this entire pandemic have proven one thing: they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They have no idea. I'm not just speaking of Arizona. I'm speaking of all of these damn broken ass systems.
Right.
And
but what about when I went to high school, right? When I went into high school, what was required of me was I had to make sure I got a tetanus shot. I had to make sure I got all these different
immunizations.
Shots.
Yeah, because you're going to be around a large group of people for a lengthy period of time. And it's not like you had to show your immunization records like every week you showed up to class. You had to do it pretty much once. And I think that it was also broken down and filed at the district level of schools where you could go to any school within that district because the immunization records were shared across the board. And it wasn't your individual personalized immunization records. It was basically proof has been shown that this child is immunized, and that was the extent of it. And we may have to get to something like that when it comes to this virus, because there's so many people out there that just don't take it as seriously. So I think I'm on the side of the business owners. I don't think it's an invasion of someone's medical history, because you're not saying, hey, does your dick work? Do you have erectile dysfunction?
Yeah, do you have an STD?
Do you have an STD? Have you ever had AIDS? Or, did you ever get the syphilis from that crack whore on Central Avenue? No, we're just asking you for something that is going to benefit. These companies are asking you for something that's going to benefit you and the people around you. Again, we're back to that fucking argument of this isn't about you. This is about the people around you. And I believe that these businesses are kind of taking that approach with, hey, flash your V card, your vaccination card,
Yeah.
and then come in and have a burger and some drinks, and we can have a really good time like we used to before. And then Santos, I guess he doesn't see it that way. But again, like you said, it doesn't benefit him. It doesn't. Right. It doesn't. It and him coming against. They are. I've seen that with Governor Douche Nozzle here in Arizona. He speaks in fucking circles. He says one thing and contradicts himself on the next. You know what I mean? Like, he lifted mandates that the motherfucker never put in place. And now DeSantis has been preaching freedom and little government, and then now he's been doing nothing but big government control down in Florida. And I know this, and I have a little bit of a personal connection to it because of my fandom of the Michael Mara show, which is part of the show. The lead host, Michael Mara, is in Florida, and he talks about this governor at length on his show. And I listened to some of the asinine, backwards ass bullshit that goes down there in Florida. And I will say this, Jake, Arizona is giving Florida a run for its money because we're almost as ass backwards as they are.
Yeah, it's like, who do these politicians serve? You know, because like, it makes me think of when they passed the stimulus bill, right? And when they did polling, more than 50% of Republican people in the country were down with the stimulus check. Like, they're like, or the stimulus plan. They're like, yes, let's pass it. We need it. Not a single Republican voted for it on the Senate floor. It still passed because the Democrats have the majority. But so it's like, if more than half of the Republican people in our country want this to pass, but none of the Republican senators passed it, who are these people serving?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Because it doesn't seem like they're serving their own people, the people that voted them in. And a lot of these people will continue to vote for them in because I think a lot of Americans just kind of see things as there's an R next to the name, there's a D next to the name, and that's who I'm voting for.
They don't look at the substance. They just look at it from the surface. I think I mentioned it on the show that I have a friend of mine who voted Trump just because he's Republican.
Yeah.
And my friend who I've known for over 25 years is a black guy. And I'm like, he says, he literally put it up on his social media that he's voting Trump because Trump is Republican and it was the Republican Party that freed the slaves. I was like, dude, you are the quintessential reason on why voting is going to be taken away from your ass. And then we'll see how free your ass feels then. But you're right. If it's the R or the D there, people vote down their party lines. And when the Republicans that represent these people don't vote the people's will, the question remains, who are they serving? You know?
Yeah. It's
and then they're so blind to even see that this. I mean, you got people that are part of the Republican Party that threw their support behind Trump because he was who he was, not what he was made of or what he stood for, and that's the saddest part.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I agree with you.
And I'm not sure. Like, you know, with the Trump supporters, they're very loud. They're, you know, they
haven't quieted it down, and he's gonna stir them up again with his new website.
They're very loud, but I still like to believe that's not most of the Republican Party. You know,
I think that the proof is in the proof is in the pudding. Look who's in the White House. Because we didn't get into the White House by just all the Democrats voting. There had to be some Republicans.
There's a very few times where we see people who normally vote for one side vote for the other. I think one time we saw it definitely was with Obama because he had such a movement behind him. I think where like he actually I think swayed a lot of people who were normally Republican to the Democratic side, and then.
And it's not like it's not that they stayed there. I mean, they just, I believe that what you're talking about are the evenly minded person, the evenly minded voter. that is the quiet voter, the one that looks at the issues, that understands that sometimes things that mean stuff to them is going to be supported by someone that may not have the same insignia as them. You know what I mean?
I'm saying even on a wider scale, very rarely, I think most of the time people are like, I'm just voting for who I'm voting for based on the R and the D. Yeah. Most of the time, I think Obama was a special case. I think George Bush on his second term was a special case as well, because 9/11 happened. We just had gotten in a war. Everyone was sort of gung-ho. Maybe now in retrospect, we were wrong about that. But like, yeah, I think at the time, a lot of people were like, fuck it, I'm voting for Bush. Like,
he got my support, and I'm not a Republican.
Right. Like, I think a lot of people were like that with him. And I think that happened once again this time around with Biden.
Yeah.
But I think
it will probably even back out as we get more adults at the table. If we avoid letting these man babies into the ring of politics, I think that it'll even itself back out, where people will be more comfortable voting with their party lines because that person is not a man child. Right. Well, I think we have man babies, and you got people that are just I don't know. I'm really interested to see what the next 4 years. I think most 4 years from now is going to look like.
I think most people just like don't care, which is honestly, I think that's fair. Like it's fine if you're just like, I'm not really into politics that much. I think that's fine as long as you kind of. I think you should pay attention to it, but if you don't, it's you. But there's some things that just occur in our lives that you just can't avoid, and I think
it removes us from it. Yeah, but I think Jake, you made this point. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I think like something like COVID is like something you can't ignore. Like that is something
like when 9/11 happened.
9/11 is something you can't. And also our first black president, like that's something you can't ignore. Like that is just such a huge movement. Where like most of the time it's like Bush's first election. It was like, does it really matter that much?
On his dad's name.
Yeah. Most people probably didn't care. It's like the policies, it didn't matter. I'm voting R, I'm voting D, and that's probably how it goes most of the time. But every once in a while we get these things that it's like, I just said we can't avoid what's going on in the world right now,
I also believe that this last election woke up or not woke up, but activated a segment of voters, because there were the largest percentage of new registered voters. I believe this last election happened, and don't quote me on this, but I believe that a large number of those new registered voters were a lot of the younger generation. The younger generation that the Obama administration also mobilized, and now that younger generation is older. So now there's a newer younger generation that I believe was mobilized in this last election that we've in a size that we've never seen, unlike any other time before.
Well, and I think people like Bernie Sanders were they had such a huge movement behind them, and like just in the age that we're in, where we're talking on a podcast right now, we don't have a lot of viewers, but let's pretend we did, and like this didn't exist in the 90s. There were a few radio stations a few AM radio stations that talked about politics. But now you go on YouTube and everywhere. it's all over,
That's all radio is now. It's politics, sports, or music. That's all it is on broadcast radio. But I believe that there's a mobilization of a younger generation that I believe are going to hopefully hold, number one, the memory of how they were represented. And they're going to hold those people they're going to hold their feet to the fire, because the older generation of them just saying, hey, they did what they did, whatever, I'm voting it. I think that generation is starting to, die off a little bit. And hopefully these younger ones are going to hold them accountable for it.
And, I grew up in that generation, the millennials and stuff. And like, I think, we grew up constantly just being belittled, even though we were just kids, literally. And it's like, look at these entitled millennials with their with their safe spaces and
their hemp farms and
their
veggies.
Participation trophies, and it's like, bitch, we didn't do that. That was you guys. And we're like, we'll fucking show you. My favorite thing is that people are still saying, kids these days have it so easy. And I'm like, bro, kids these days are growing up during a pandemic. How can you say they have it easy? It's insane. It's the most insane thing. So I just think people say the same shit every generation it happens.
Well, I let my my pandemic guard down just a little bit just the other night. A very small, minuscule amount. I let the guard down.
What'd you do?
I ordered Grubhub.
Oh, what'd you get?
Dude, okay. And this is the end of the show. And
yeah.
You can keep going, but I'm done. I have for the last month and a half been craving a food, and I've been telling myself, nope, don't get it. Nope, don't get it. No, don't get it. You're fat, motherfucker. Don't get it. You don't need this. You don't need this. And then yesterday I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm ordering the largest serving that I can find on the internet. So I went and re-downloaded, because I had deleted all of my food delivery apps during the pandemic. So I re-downloaded the hub of the Grub, and I ordered myself the largest serving of shrimp fried rice.
Oh, dude, I love shrimp fried rice.
I've been craving fucking shrimp fried rice like a pregnant woman craves pickles and ice cream. I wanted that shit so bad. Dude, I ordered it from this Chinese food place. I ordered from one Chinese food place that I've ordered before, and I got a message from Grubhub that the order was canceled. And I was like, what? Your order was canceled and refunded. I'm like, what? They're like, the restaurant never confirmed your order. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe they're closed or whatever like that. I don't know. So then I found another one that was relatively close, and I ordered from them, a place that I've never ordered from before. And it worked out, dude, because their shrimp fried rice didn't have the little itty bitty little shrimpies. It had the big shrimpies in it.
Oh, dude.
The big shrimpies in. Oh my gosh, dude. I literally, I picked up, the Grubhub delivery person wasn't wearing a mask. I saw it on my security camera. So I handled the packaging very carefully. But I know that they don't touch anything that's on the inside. They just touch what's on the outside. Right. So, dude, as soon as I got that fucking shrimp fried rice out of the bag, I grabbed not a serving spoon, but the spoon size up from a regular tablespoon.
Right, yeah.
And dude, just took I have my own personal my own soy sauce. I have soy sauce in my house. I took my own soy sauce, doused it in soy sauce. I have my own chili paste, dropped a couple of drops of chili paste on there, and literally like a fat kid was leaning over my island in my kitchen, shoveling fucking shrimp fried rice down my gullet. It was so delicious. I went to bed last night with a fucking tummy ache. I had eaten so much damn shrimp fried rice. And I can't wait for this fucking show to be over, because I have more shrimp fried rice still waiting for me, because I didn't order one plate, Jake. I ordered two. I stocked up on fucking shrimp fried rice.
Leftover shrimp, though, is questionable.
It is questionable. That's why I think I got at least a 24-hour window on it. So if you shut your pretty little mouth up, I got about 45 minutes left before this shit turns rancid and puts me in the hospital.
All right, give me a 5, 6, 7, 8. Come
5, 6, 7, 8.